Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy, AJTRIP, and welcome to the Game According to Me. This is my weekly podcast. We'll talk about what's going on in the world of sports, particularly the college football and National Football League landscape. But we got some other things to talk about today, including, let's start off with the Pro Football Hall of Fame revealed its 28 semifinalists for the class of 2023. It goes as following: Eric Allen, cornerback; Jared Allen, defensive end; Willie Anderson, offensive tackle; Rondé Barber, cornerback; Anquan Bolden, wide receiver; Henry Ellard, wide receiver; Jahari Evans, offensive guard; London Fletcher, linebacker; Dwight Freeney, defensive end; James Harrison, linebacker; Rodney Harrison, safety; Devin Hester, kick returner / wide receiver; Torrey Hope, wide receiver; Andre Johnson, wide receiver; Albert Lewis, cornerback; Robert Mathis, defensive end, linebacker; Darrelle Revis, cornerback; Steve Smith Sr., wide receiver; Fred Taylor, running back; Joe Thomas, offensive tackle; Zach Thomas, linebacker; Hines Ward, wide receiver; DeMarcus Ware, linebacker, defensive end; Ricky Waters, running back; Reggie Wayne, wide receiver; Vince Wilfork, defensive tackle; Patrick Willis, linebacker; Darren Woodson, safety. Now, those are the 28 finalists. At some point, they're going to chop these names down from 28 to 15. And then during the NFL Honors Weekend, they're going to get in the room and chop those down 15, go from 15 to 10, and 15, and then from 10 to at the very least 5, and it should be 5. Here's my thoughts on this list. I think most of people on this list are Hall of Famers. I think some of them are not. I think Hines Ward is a product of his era. He has 1,000 catches, but he was nothing that other than he won a Super Bowl MVP, but he won a Super Bowl MVP because Ben Roethlisberger was in his second year. I don't think Hines Ward is a Hall of Famer. I just don't think so. I think he's a product of this era, the passing era, and that's why he got 1,000 catches. Let's take a look here. Vince Wilfork, like, there's a part of me that wonders, like, if are you gonna start taking defensive tackles because they stopped the run? Okay, but we got a guy here, a Chicago Bear, Steve Montgomery Michael. He got like 99 um, sacks from the defensive tackle position. I think that's the most, or second most behind John Randall. He should be in the Hall of Fame before Vince Wilfork should be. Patrick Willis, I don't think played long enough. Although they have with Tony Baselli and with Terrell Davis, and of course Gale Sayers, they have kind of said that, well, maybe it's not about how long you play, is what you did and when you played. So maybe actually Patrick Willis is a Hall of Famer. We have to look at it differently. I'm looking at a lot of these. Anquan Bolden, I don't think is a Hall of Famer. Henry Ellard, I don't think is a Hall of Famer. I don't know about James Harrison. You know, Eric Allen, the cornerback, I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer as well. So, see, if I was Fred Taylor, the running back, I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. See, if I was choosing the Hall of Fame, here's who I would choose. I'm taking, of course, Devin Hester, the greatest kick returner of all time. He's going in. He should have went in last year, actually. I'm picking Joe Thomas, offensive tackle, Cleveland Browns. I'm going to choose Rodney Harrison, safety. It's been long overdue for Rodney Harrison to get into the Hall of Fame. I'm going to choose Torrey Holt, who should be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to choose Darrelle Revis, the cornerback. Those would be my 5 that I would choose as of right now. I may come back to this later, and I may choose different ones. But if it's just, especially depending on where who's cut down to the final 15. But yeah, again, let's go. Mine would be Rodney Harrison, Devin Hester, Torrey Holt, Darrell Revis, and Joe Thomas. Those would be my class in Hall of Fame. And by the way, I think choosing 5 is stupid. I don't know why they put a limit on this. They should, especially with the fact that you got guys, but like, why is Henry Ellert still being in semifinal? Henry Ellert, stopped playing like in late '99 and 2000 or something like that, didn't he? So I don't know. There's a lot of back thing. They should really just like have just like for like the next 3 years, just select as many people as you want, or select 10 maybe. They selected 10 for the 100 year thing, but they should have selected 10 for a couple more years afterwards, so that they could kind of get some of this stuff back in order, so that people who deserve to go to Hall of Fame could be Hall of Famers. Surprisingly, I have to say again, as being a Chicago Bear fan, I'm shocked that Lance Briggs, Charles Tillman, and Olin Kreutz did not make the semifinals list along with their teammate Devin Hester. Now, some may say, can you really have 5 Hall of Famers? Urlacher, Kreutz, Briggs, Tillman, and Hester off of a team that went to the Super Bowl but didn't win it? Well, I say yes. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It's all about how, the kind of player they was. And Urlacher was one of the greatest middle linebackers of all time, the greatest of our generation. And yes, he is the greatest, not Ray Lewis. Lance Briggs went to 6, 7 Pro Bowls during the time when the outside linebacker position was, pass rushers, and he was the only one in the 4-3 defense going. Peanut Tillman has absolutely he has the most return touchdowns, I think, in NFL history. He also has the most forced fumbles, more than the mentioned Ray Lewis, who's a linebacker. He's a defensive back. He created the peanut punch. There's so many things. Of course, team and Olin Kreutz never got the credit that he deserved when he was playing. They always chose other guys from center, and I think that's mainly because the Bears sucked. So they thought maybe Olin Kreutz sucked, but Olin Kreutz was a great player, and he should be in the Hall of Fame as well. So, but there you have it. Those are the 28 semifinalists for the Pro Football's Hall of Fame class of 2023, and my 5 that I would put in if I had to vote. So let's take a look at the NBA standings. A couple of weeks into the NBA season. Starting the Eastern Conference, the Celtics are on top of the Eastern Conference with a 13-4 record. The Bucks are right behind them with a 12-4 record. Cavaliers, not surprisingly to me, are in 3rd place with an 11-6 record. The Pacers, surprisingly, are in 4th place with a 10-6 record. The Wizards are 5th place with a 10-7 record. Identical record for the Atlanta Hawks in 6th place, 10-7. 76ers are 9-8, along with the Raptors are 9-8. The Knicks are 9-9, and the Nets are 8-10. Out, if the playoffs will be starting now, out of the playoffs will be the Bulls at 7-10, the Heat at 7-11, the Magic at 5-13, the Hornets at 4-14, and the Pistons at 4-15. I thought the Pistons were going to be a sleeper, just like Charles said last night. I thought they were going to be a sleeper, but I guess not. In the Western Conference, the Suns are on top of the Western Conference with 11-6 record. The Jazz are number 2, surprising team, 12-7 record. The Sacramento Kings, another surprising team, 3rd with 10-6. The Clippers are 11-7 in the 4th place. The Pelicans are in 5th place and tied with the 6th place Trailblazers and the 7th place Nuggets with identical 10-7 records. The 8th seed is the Dallas Mavericks at 9-7. The Grizzlies are at 10-8. The Timberwolves are at 9-8. Those run up to playoff teams. If the playoffs started today, The defending world champion Golden State Warriors will not even make the play-in game if they are 11th ranked in the West with an 8-10 record. The Thunder have a 7-10 record. The Spurs have a 6-12 record. The Lakers are 5-11, and the Rockets are at 3-14. I think the Kings are on a big game winning streak. They've won 7 in a row. Can they keep it up? Can they make a shocking display? And how about the same thing for the Utah Jazz? They're 11-4 in the conference. They're 6-1 at home. This is a team that is shocking, and let's see if they can keep it continued. Way to go, Jazz. Way to go, Kings. Way to go, Pacers in the Eastern Conference as well. Good job, y'all, all y'all guys. All right, so now let's check out last night's college football playoff rankings. With Tennessee losing in big time fashion to South Carolina, they dropped to number 10. Oregon is number 9. Clemson is 8 with 10-1. Alabama is 9-2. Southern California is 10-1. LSU is 9-2. TCU, Michigan, Ohio State, and Georgia 4-3, 2-1 respectively, all with identical 11-0 records. Although one of those is going to change as Ohio State plays Michigan this weekend in the game. This rivalry week, everybody. This is going to be fun. We're going to see what happens here. There could be some chaos if we have some losses somewhere, and LSU 9-2. Could they actually get in to the college football playoff over a one-loss Southern California if they beat Notre Dame and then win the Pac-12 championship game? It's unreal. It could be happening with these teams, and but it's gonna be so much fun. This is, I'm gonna had a lot of things go down this weekend. I was supposed to do a podcast that for my other podcast that I didn't get the opportunity to do. I don't know if or when I get the opportunity to do it. Maybe I will as soon. But yeah. Basically, just that podcast is. This is the best time of the year. It's because of the weather. The weather is getting colder. We've had a daylight saving time, so it gets dark early. I love that. I hate the fact that they, put in a thing where next year they're not supposed to do daylight saving time. It's gonna blow. So yeah, it's gonna be, and football is happening. We're in the midst of the NFL season, of course, and we're coming down close to the end of the regular season of the college football. We're headed to the bowl games and the playoffs. So this should be a fun weekend. A lot of the rivalry games are happening, and I think it starts Thursday night with the Egg Bowl, Mississippi and Mississippi State. It's gonna be great. So let's check out what went down last week and what's going to be going down this. We're back at week 12. Last Thursday, Tulane beat SMU 59-24. A beat down of the SMU Mustangs from the Green Wave of Tulane. Navy beat UCF 17-14 Saturday. And what was interesting about this was that the damn game, like it went 2 hours. It's most college football games go 4. That went 2 hours. TCU and Baylor had a scorcher of a game. TCU came back, and what cojones by the coach at TCU to run it on third down with no timeouts and under 25 seconds, and they ran it, and then they hustled off the field the offense and hustled on the field the kicking team, and they kicked it, and they went right down the middle. TCU wins. Unreal. Just a great game. And all great games are happening at the same time. And then we had Michigan in Illinois going down to the last second. Michigan kicking a field goal to win it, 19-17. Florida State beat Louisiana, 49-17. Alabama beat Austin Peay, 34-0. Kansas State beat West Virginia, 48-31. Oregon State beat Arizona State, 31-7. Notre Dame in the snow blew the hell out of Boston College, 44-0. The Virginia game with Coastal Carolina, of course, was canceled because of the tragic shooting of the 3 young football players last week. And got bad news for you reading on Twitter. Someone, again, in Virginia, DC Chesapeake, shot again at a Walmart. We're just not going to learn, are we, guys? We're just not going to learn. Texas beat Kansas 55-14. Penn State beat Rutgers 55-10. Clemson beat Miami of Florida 40-10. Georgia had a little trouble with Kentucky, but they won by 10, 16-6. Ohio State beat Maryland 43-30. Cincinnati beat Temple 23-3. Georgia Tech took out North Carolina 21-17. South Carolina beat Tennessee 63-38. That's what I was talking about earlier. Tennessee was the former 5 seed, now drops down to 10 seed. Have no shot at the college football player, becomes the second team to start out of the number 1 team in the college football playoff and not make the playoff. Other team, first year of the college football playoff, 2014, Mississippi State, were led by Dak Prescott. Arkansas beat Mississippi 42-27 in a barn burner, in a bloodbath. 48-45, USC took on UCLA, and they kept their stuff. They kept their chances at the playoff alive. LSU beat UAB 41-10. Washington beat Colorado 54-7. Oregon beat Utah 20-17. Now let's look ahead to this week, and these are like the rivalry games, and I don't know a lot of these things. I do know Mississippi State, Mississippi tomorrow night, the Egg Bowl. I know that. Cincinnati is taking on Tulane. Baylor is at Texas. North Carolina State, I believe. I don't know, but it's something. UCLA at California. Florida and Florida State. That is the Seminole Spear, something like that, I think. Michigan and Ohio State. It's just the game. South Carolina and Clemson. It's no trophy, just a big time battle between 2 teams in the same region. Coastal Carolina and James Madison. Here's my favorite: Georgia and Georgia Tech. Clean, old-fashioned hate. Yeah. The Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn. Oregon and Oregon State. They play for something, again, I can't remember. Utah and Colorado. Iowa State and TCU. Michigan State and Penn State for the Land Grant Trophy. LSU and Texas A&M. UCF and USF. University of Central Florida, University of South Florida. Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Kansas and Kansas State. Washington State, the Apple Cup. But the big one, then this could change a lot of stuff within the college football playoff. Notre Dame at USC. It's gonna be a great one. That is for the jeweled shillelagh. And as always, let's now look at the National Football League. We go back to last Thursday. The Titans beat the Packers 27-17. Packers looks like this is just a down year for the Packers. Even after they came up and beat the Cowboys, they couldn't take care of the Titans. Titans beat the Packers 27-17. On the Sunday's actions, the Falcons beat the Bears 27-24. Kyle Pitts tore his MCL, is going to be out for 4 weeks. Justin Fields has a shoulder injury. Ian Rappaport first reported it was dislocated. However, both Aaron Schefter and Pro Football Talk has said that they have not heard it being dislocated. We'll find out actually today what, well, we hope to do. The Bears coaches don't like to give injury reports very often, but we'll see what happens today with the Bears and Justin Fields. The Colts had a chance to win, but they just couldn't put the Eagles away. Missed a field goal that could have helped them win it. Eagles came back, scored a touchdown. Jalen Hurts, 17-16. Eagles over the Colts. And maybe one of the wildest finishes in NFL history. A 3-3 tie game, looking to go into overtime with about 20 seconds left. The Jets kicked the ball to the Patriots punt, and the punt returner returns it for a touchdown. There was maybe a block in the back at the end of that run. You never know, but Patriots win 10-3. Afterwards, after the game, Robert Saleh, coach of the Jets, said that he was not thinking about making a change at quarterback. Zach Wilson, when asked if he feels like the offense let the defense down, he said no. And then come Monday, Robert Saleh said that he has not made a decision on the Jets quarterback position as of then. So we'll see. Most people say that when you come out and say that, you're making a change. So we will wait and see what does go down. The Commanders beat the Texans 23-10. Commanders now starting to win run. They won 4 or 5 in a row now under the guidance of Taylor Heineke, and Ron Rivera has stated that Taylor Heineke will be the quarterback for the rest of the season. So good job on him. Matthew Stafford suffered another concussion, left the game against the Saints. Saints made a comeback, won the game 27-20. James Winston is all upset that he lost his job because of injury, but the games he played in, he was not playing well. Andy Dalton has put points up. Sorry, Andy's the better quarterback right now. Good on Andy. Saints 27-20 victory over the Rams. Buffalo Bills and the Cleveland Browns. They're supposed to be at Orchard Park, but because of 70+ feet of snow that dropped last weekend, they could not play it. So in Orchard Park, so they played it in Detroit, where the Bills will be playing tomorrow. We'll get to that in a minute. The Bills beat the Browns 31-23. Not a great game for Josh Allen, but maybe right now this is what Josh Allen just needs to do, and this is what the Bills just need to do. Run the ball, maybe just take some plays here and there in the passing game, not try to throw it all over the field like they've been doing it. Maybe so that this will get Josh Allen into the groove of not turning the ball over, so that when it's time for him to throw the ball all over the field, he won't be throwing the ball over, and he'll be looking like the best quarterback in the league, like he did for the better part of last year and the first beginning of this year. The Ravens beat the Panthers 13-3. The Giants lost to the Lions 31-18. 2 consecutive road wins for the Detroit Lions. It's unreal what's going on with them right now. They'd be in a chance to get back into the wild card picture. However, they're going to be facing those Buffalo Bills. And the New York Giants, you probably can't lose to the Lions, and they did. And even though Daniel Jones had a great game passing the ball, he also turned the ball over. And you just can't do that. Playing the Cowboys, we'll get to that in a second as well. The Raiders beat the Broncos in overtime 22-26. A last-second pass to Devontae Adams for Derek Carr. Not last second, I should say, but a pass. Scored on the first drive. Touchdown. Game over. Raiders 22, Broncos 16. Melvin Gordon, the third, once again fumbled in that game, and he was released yesterday. The Cowboys just put a beat down on the Minnesota Vikings, 40-3. I know a lot of people are not looking at the Vikings, favorably now. I still am a Vikings fan right now. I still think that they are eligible to win the NFC and make the Super Bowl. And but yes, you say if you want to be taken seriously, you can't lose by 37 points at home to another good team. That's just not the only way you could have been worse if it was a lower team. The fact that you get beat by a good team makes it, I guess, tolerable, but still, you don't want that happening. Bengals beat the Steelers 37-30. The Chiefs and the Chargers, what a game they played. It was always one-score games. It's always coming down to like the last minute of the game. And Patrick Mahomes hit Kelsey for his third touchdown of the night. Chiefs beat the Chargers 30-27. And on Monday Night Football down in Mexico, the 49ers behind Jimmy Garoppolo's 4 touchdowns, 2 to Greg Kittle, 2 to Brandon Ayuk. They beat the Cardinals 38-10. As we look ahead to this week's actions, Thanksgiving. Obviously, we got Thanksgiving Day games. The Bills are at the Lions. Bills need to just keep it continue. And if they lose to the Lions, there's I think you can take them out of winning the AFC, because that's something that you just can't do. You really, for Buffalo, you need to win all the rest of your games. You can't lose any of them. You can't, if you really want to be a true contender to the Super Bowl. That is, of course, at 12:30 Eastern. The Giants and the Cowboys were playing at 4:30 Eastern. Those are the two normal ones. Giants and Cowboys play. And the third game, which was added about a decade ago, is known in particular. They rotated, and this year the Vikings and the Patriots in Minnesota. This is a good time for the Minnesota Vikings to get over that 40-3 loss, take on the Patriots as a team they should beat. And there's also time to Kirk Cousins to prove he can play in prime time. On to Sunday, the Texans will be at the Dolphins. Should be an easy victory for the Dolphins. Bengals and the Titans, that's going to be a good one. A rematch of last year's playoff game. The Broncos are at the Panthers. The Jets at the Bears. Who will be quarterbacking both teams? That's something to look at. The Falcons are at the Commanders. The Falcons are trying to win their division. The Commanders are trying to sneak into the wild card spot. That should be a good one. The Buccaneers are at the Browns. Read something online on the scroll on ESPN that somebody vandalized the field in the Brown Stadium. That's just ridiculous. I don't know why you vandalizing the field or anything like that. They did say that it's going to be playable in time for the game, but that's just wrong. Brady's coming off of a bye. Let's see if this is 2020 all over again. And right out the bye, the Buccaneers are getting ready to go on a roll. The got the Ravens at the Jaguars. The Raiders are at the Seahawks. Another bye for the Seahawks. They need to, as well, get back on track after losing to the Buccaneers a couple of weeks ago. They cannot lose this game to the Raiders, who probably feel like they are getting ready to start, get on a roll. The Chargers are at the Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury is not fired yet, so that's a good thing. We'll see if Kyler Murray play in this game. But whether he plays or he doesn't, this should be a victory for the Chargers. The Saints at the 49ers, even though the Saints have, played a couple of good games here. in a while. They're going to the 49ers, and I think the 49ers are, they're talking about team getting on the road. They're getting on the road, and Jimmy G is getting on the road. The Rams at the Chiefs. Probably you thought at the beginning of the year this would be a fantastic game. That's why they put it at 425. But with no Matthew Stafford, with no Cooper Kupp, and the Chiefs the way they are, this should be a steamroll for the Kansas City Chiefs. Unfortunately, Sunday Night Football, the Packers at the Eagles. Again, this might be a good game. I don't think the Eagles are gonna blow out the Packers, but you expected maybe maybe an 8-2 Packers team, maybe going up against like a 7-3, 6-4 Eagles team, but that's not gonna happen. It's actually the other way around. The Eagles and the Packers, and Packers are even worse than 6-4. They're 3-7, 3-8, whatever they may be. And on Monday Night Football, Jeff Saturday hosts the Steelers. The Colts. This should be another win for the Colts and Jeff Saturday. You need to pick his team up after the close loss that they had to the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's it for Week 12 for the National Football League. All right, guys, that is it for this week. For the Game According to Me, we'll be back next Wednesday with another spanking brand new edition of the Game According to Me. Once again, what we always do, talk about the college football and the pro football. Preview championship Saturday with our championship games. I think the Big Ten games on Friday. And then we're going to preview week 13 in the National Football League. If you listen to this podcast and says, you know what, I want to help this brother out, what can I do? There's many ways you can do it. You can do it monetarily or non-monetarily. If you have the monetarily means to do so, you want to support me, well, there's a couple ways. There's patron.com/AJTRIP. Become a patron. Once I hit the set amount of patrons, you will be able to determine what you will see on my YouTube channel. Search at AJTRIP. They're using Ask Now on YouTube. What I will talk about on my other podcast, The World According to Me. Search for that anywhere you listen to the podcast. And what I play on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ATRIP20. But they have to be games that I already have unless you buy me the game. So, but otherwise, yes, I can be playing the games for you guys. Or you don't want to do that, you can go to anchor.fm/AJTRIP and right there on the page is a support. You support your creator with 3 tiers: 99 cents, $4.99, and $9.99. But if you can't do it monetarily, and most of you probably can't, then the way to support me non-monetarily is to like this and subscribe to this podcast and rate it, give it a high rating, and share it on all of your social medias, including Twitter, even though it's not dead yet. But yes, share it everywhere you can so that the more people listen, the more people help me out as well. Thank you guys again so much for listening. I appreciate that all the time you give to listening to this podcast. I truly do. It is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.